Good afternoon, good evening, I should say, everyone. And Michelle Casada here, WPTV senior reporter, and I'm joined today by Palm Beach County's Director for Community Services Department, James Green, and Janita Jones, attorney for the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County. And we're talking about a very important topic. We're talking about the CDC's moratorium on evictions and that extension now putting us at an expiration date of July 31st. First, I want to welcome James. Welcome, Janita. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you. And for all of you who are joining, there's a comment section. Please go ahead and post your questions as we go ahead and talk about this very important topic that a lot of people, a lot of families in our county and all around really the Treasure Coast, all over South Florida are dealing with right now. I just got stats from the court administrator of the state that as of March of last year, more than 100,000 evictions have been filed across the state. So definitely there is a lot happening. Obviously we know with the CDC's moratorium that only certain types of evictions due to non-payment qualify to be able to halt those eviction processes. And so before we get into this topic, I want to run a story that we just ran at 5 o'clock in case you missed it. Our WPTV Sabir Rayford talked to a local tenant and also with David Jones about this and just kind of kicks off the conversation for us.
I'm Sabir Rayford, Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County says it's seen an increase in evictions. The question is now, what happens when the eviction moratorium is lifted?
Inside this home in Lake Worth,
it's very scary.
The clock of stability is ticking.
I am very concerned.
This is Kim's home.
Probably been almost 2 years.
Her sister-in-law owns the property and Kim pays the lot rent. Her first year here?
It was good. We were working. We were paying our bills.
Kim was making money cleaning stores at the mall.
March 23rd was our last day in the mall. Everything started to go.
Bills began piling up, and $960 a month from Social Security
wasn't enough.
After months of making partial payments,
they just stick a note out there on the gate. You have 5 days to vacate.
We've seen an increase of people reaching out to us because of not being able to pay rent because they are facing eviction.
More than 9 months ago, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention enacted a temporary federal moratorium on evictions for people impacted by the pandemic. Janita Jones, the lead staff attorney with Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, says the moratorium is based on non-payment of rent cases. She says the first step is delivering a signed declaration to the landlord.
The eviction moratorium also does not stop evictions from occurring or from being filed, but what it does is that it stops the final action of the eviction from occurring.
The moratorium was set to expire on June 30th. The CDC extended it through July 31st, calling it the final extension.
We may see an avalanche of evictions that take place and that are finalized.
There is help available.
What we are hoping, though, is that the word gets out that there is rental assistance that is available through the county's emergency rental assistance funds.
The county received $45.2 million. The community services director says they've spent more than $12 million helping residents pay their bills. Kim was one of them. The Lord's Place connected her with the caseworker.
Penny sent me the paperwork to sign and send to them. I think that's when they started finally leaving me alone.
The Lord's Place is helping Kim pay her lot rent, but she knows the clock is still ticking.
Stay positive. We'll get through this. We have to.
Right now, Legal Aid Society is also working with renters to seal evictions from their records so it doesn't impact them moving forward. Reporting in West Palm Beach, I'm Sabir Rayford.
All right, so obviously a lot to unpack there. And I want to start off with James Green first. James, welcome again. Thank you for talking with us this evening. This is a very important topic. And I want to explain to people that the rental assistance program is just as much beneficial to the tenant as the landlord, right? I mean, can you just talk about what it is?
Absolutely. And first off, thank you very much, Michelle, for having me. It's so important that we get this information out to our residents so that they know what's available to them during these challenging times. What is available now? If you go to rentalassistancepbc.org, individuals are able to apply for assistance. They can, if they're being evicted, that application will be prioritized. But all they need to do is be qualified through being earning less than 80% of the median income, which is around $49,500 if it's one person in the household. If there are four people in the household, you can earn up to around $70,250. And so that means that a lot of individuals who have been impacted by COVID that meet those eligibility guidelines can come in and get assistance. If you are earning less due to COVID, you lost your job and now you're working again, but you're earning less and you're unable to pay your bills, and it's due to COVID, you will qualify. If you have been impacted indirectly, meaning you had to keep the kids at home and due to COVID, you didn't want to send them to school, and now your utility bills, your electric bill is way higher. Or perhaps you didn't send them to school, but you sent them to another facility so that they can have supervision while they're learning, and you paid for that. That is an indirect impact due to COVID, and those types of things would help you to qualify for this assistance. And you can get up to 12 months back rent, and you can also get an additional 3 months if indeed you can prove that that is necessary. And so all total is 12 months, but we can request an additional 3 months under extenuating circumstances. And we want to make sure that we can get these dollars out to our residents who are currently going through eviction or that are going through various types of crisis, financial crisis due to COVID-19.
And it's so important that we realize that, that's one of the main reasons why the moratorium was extended, right? It was supposed to expire at the end of June. It was extended one more month. And the intent is that this is the last time it will be extended. And it was so that these funds that have been allocated can get out to tenants and landlords. And I just want to bring up an important point, James. So the money that comes out of this, if you qualify as a tenant and you meet the guidelines, that money is going straight to the landlords. So the landlords get
It's going directly to the property owners. That's correct.
Go ahead.
The property owners must register as a vendor with Palm Beach County. There is a process that you'll go through to register as a vendor. And so dollars are not going directly to the tenant at this time. There's another pot of dollars, which we may have an opportunity to talk about later, where if the property owner chooses not to accept the dollars, then we have the provision to give funding directly to the tenant. But for now, all of the funding goes directly to the property owner. They just need to verify that the amount that is owed, and they need to register as a vendor with Palm Beach County.
And Danita, I wanted to bring you in because this rental assistance program has been a huge help in intercepting these cases from even being filed in the court system and these evictions being filed. Talk a little bit about how you personally have worked with families who are either facing eviction or about to face eviction.
Absolutely, and thank you again for allowing me to be here today. So our rapid response eviction assistance program at Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County was brought about as the result of a grant from Palm Beach County. Through that program, we are able to offer legal advice, legal assistance in negotiating repayment plans and applying for rental assistance through the emergency rental assistance program that the county offers. In an effort to help those who have been financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Our legal representation will help with filing answers in court, and also, like I said, just negotiating with that landlord to ensure that they are getting paid the monies that are owed to them.
And it's also important to know, because we've seen a couple comments on here, like Larry Brady commented, how is that even possible when there's so many available jobs? I put this on people just being lazy and not living up to their full potential. And, we have to talk about the fact that, yes, although there are a lot of jobs now that people are able to get, this is, back rent that was missed maybe for months and months in 2020 when everyone kind of shut down and didn't have work. So if we could talk a little bit about, James, the families that you have calling you, who may be being able to make those partial rent payments, but they're still so behind from payments from last year.
Absolutely. And there's been a gap in employment for many of them. And even though the unemployment rate has decreased significantly, there are still a number of individuals out there who are not earning nearly as much as they did prior to the pandemic. And those individuals would still qualify for the assistance that's available. What they were earning before may have been sufficient to continue to pay their bills, but if the same is happening, if they can't pay their bills, then we want to be there to assist them. We have families who have loved ones that have passed away, and that income was needed in order to continue to pay their bills. There are just a plethora of reasons why individuals still need the assistance that's available. And here's something that's very important. We have funding available for relocation as well. And so some individuals just need assistance with first, last, and security, and they can move into a place that perhaps costs a little bit less and is something that they can afford. And we want to be able to assist them. And if they don't have back rent, but they're having problems paying their rent moving forward, we can make prospective payments 3 months at a time. And if they need additional assistance, they would just need to bring in documentation to show that the crisis still exists, and we can continue to pay 3 months at a time, up to 12 months, and an additional 3 months if necessary.
Absolutely. And I want to remind everyone who's joining in, please go ahead and ask your questions. That's why we're doing this. We want to get your questions answered. I do want to quickly show a story that our WPTV reporter, Matt Cesney, did that talks about the landlord side of things, because obviously there's 2-3 sides to every story, right? And just as much as tenants are struggling, those landlords also have their own mortgage payments, taxes, HOAs, everything that they have to pay as well. So I want to make sure that we run that story, and then we can get back to the discussion.
At the Coquina Cove apartment in Palm City,
here at Coquina Cove, we have 256 units.
Jeff Gustafson admits the pandemic was not easy.
The first few weeks, we were trying to figure everything out like everyone else was.
And what he found, like many landlords, was the rent stopped coming in.
We pay our vendors, utilities, landscapers, everybody. So yes, it was. We had to keep our expenses rolling and cover them.
Moratoriums on eviction, which had prevented landlords from taking any action on tenants, are now winding down. At Coquina Cove,
luckily our residents here have all weathered the storm.
Jeff Gustafson says only a small number of tenants had difficulty paying rent, and nearly all are now back on track.
There's certainly good landlords and bad landlords.
Sean Plymel is a litigation attorney who knows about real estate law in Stewart.
Evictions are definitely happening. In preparation for today, we actually went and looked at, and we pulled up 5 or 6 evictions that have gone through.
Plymel says evictions are happening when tenants cannot meet the criteria set in the CDC's moratorium guidelines, which may expire soon. When that happens, he says the decision to evict isn't always an easy one.
Certainly one of the challenges for landlords right now is, it's very difficult when they come to me and they have to spend more money to try to evict somebody that wasn't paying in the first place. And so it becomes cost prohibitive.
Which is why he says landlords should try to communicate with tenants and try to work something out.
Absolutely.
Something Jeff Gustafson says he's glad he did.
Change our policies, and we really tried to help people through their situations, and we're almost like a caseworker in a way, where we had to help each individual, help them figure out things.
Really, the recommendations for landlords are similar to those for tenants. Keep good records, especially any kind of correspondence or letters that pertain to settling disputes over rent. In Stewart, Matt Cesney, WPTV, News Channel 5.
And Danita, you have a lot to add to that as well. We've talked about how important the relationship between the tenant and landlord is. If we could talk about that.
Absolutely. As was mentioned in the last story that just played, it is important that you keep an open line of communication with your landlord. If you're having difficulty paying the rent and you are going to apply for rental assistance, let your landlord know where you are in the process so that they don't think that you are avoiding them. Communication is key, and we encourage all of our clients at Legal Aid to make sure that they do keep that open line of communication with their landlords.
And Jeff Lauer had or Lower, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, had a really good comment that we just pulled up a second ago. What about HOAs that are foreclosing on people and taking their homes because they couldn't make the HOA fee, but they're making their mortgage payments and the HOA are taking their homes? Have you dealt with any situations like that, Danita?
We have not. The program that we are focusing on right now is the Rapid Response Eviction Assistance Program, which focuses primarily on, and actually only on those that are renting. So we have not yet started working with the individuals that are facing mortgage or HOA foreclosure.
Yeah. And I want to bring up too the steps of the evictions, because this is very important to note that under the CDC's moratorium, and we have that link we can share for you of the order, only certain types of evictions are being protected from being finalized, and they have to do with non-payment directly related to income loss due to COVID-19. And there, if you see that website, you can go ahead and click on the order, and you can see for yourself what the order says. But there are certain steps after you go ahead, and even if you put in that declaration to your landlord that you are trying to be protected under the CDC moratorium, there are certain steps that have to be followed in the eviction process, Anita. And I know we talked about this extensively not too long ago, that if you do receive that summons and complaint, not to ignore it as a tenant, that you must follow through and go with the process.
Absolutely, yes. So for non-payment of rent cases specifically, in order to even initiate an eviction action, the landlord does have to serve their tenant with a 3-day notice. It is very important that the tenant responds and communicates with their landlord. But if they're not able to pay the amount owed or vacate, then the landlord can then file an eviction. Once an eviction is filed, the eviction process is very, very quick. So once an eviction is filed, then it is important that the tenant or the person that is being evicted responds. And they have to respond within 5 days. That's not including Saturdays, Sundays, or legal holidays. When they respond to the court, not only do they have to write an answer, but they also, if they do not agree with the amount of rent that is claimed, then they also have to be sure to file a motion to determine rent. If the tenant fails to respond, then a default judgment will automatically be entered. If the tenant fails to deposit the money into the court registry or file a motion to determine rent, then a default judgment will likely be entered. So that is very important to make sure that you respond properly. And at Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, we will help you through our Rapid Response Eviction Assistance Program, write those responses. And also, if you have any questions about what to include, we also can provide that information as well.
And it's important to note too that the reason why the CDC moratorium hasn't stopped evictions from being filed is it's because it only stops the finalizing of the eviction. So these evictions that have been filed are still going through the court system. As we know, once the eviction moratorium expires, those final actions could happen very quickly if there haven't been mitigating factors. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
You're absolutely right. I do not have a definite number of how many evictions are at its final stages where there's an actual writ of possession that has been issued and just waiting to be served by the sheriff. But once the moratorium expires, unfortunately, if there is a writ of possession, then the sheriff can come to your door. They will provide you with a notice, and then they will return within 24 hours if you have not vacated the premises, and they could at that time forcibly evict you. We're hoping that, some of these people, some of the tenants that are in that situation, if they do qualify for the emergency rental assistance, to go ahead and apply now while you have a little bit more time, in an effort to prevent that eviction from that writ from being executed, and also to prevent the eviction from being on your credit report if we can get that final judgment reversed.
And Donna just brought up a really good point too. She wants to talk about evictions for other reasons than non-payment, because as we know that there are other evictions that are not protected under the CDC moratorium. If you could talk about that.
Absolutely. So while the CDC moratorium does protect individuals who are being evicted for non-payment of rent, and also where the underlying reason for the eviction is based on non-payment of rent, unfortunately, Tenants can still be evicted for other reasons. They can be evicted for lease violations. They can be evicted if there is criminal activity that occurs on the property. So it's important for the tenants to understand that, yes, they can still be evicted, even though there is a CDC moratorium in place. And also to add to that, if the court finds that the tenant does not meet the protections under the CDC moratorium, then they can also be evicted as well.
James, you have worked with so many families through the Community Services Department and been able to get them funds through this rental assistance program. Talk about the money that's available still. I know the last time we spoke, it was like 12 million had only been used up out of 45 million. So where do we standing now? How many more families can apply to get this help?
Okay, so there are two things I want to mention before I answer that question. It's important for our property owners to know that once you evict a client or a tenant, we're not in the business of just making back payments with the tenants not being there. If the tenants need to get those back payments made in order to relocate into another unit, that's a different story. But if you evict a tenant and that tenant is now moving into another place, then the funding will go directly to the property owner that the tenant will be moving with or working with. So that's the first thing. As far as funding that's available, we received $45.2 million in this round of funding for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. We have expended, as of this morning, $15.5 million. That's close to 35% of the allocation, the total allocation. We've also helped over 4,700 clients, and so it's a significant impact that we are having, but we have additional funding available. And so we encourage anyone who's in need of assistance to go to rentalassistancepbc.org and to apply. If you don't have a computer or you lack internet access, we have a mobile unit. You can request that mobile unit specifically for organizations who are working with low-income populations. You can request that mobile unit and we'll come into your community with access to computers, with internet access, and we'll help you to apply. Or you can go to one of our nonprofit partners, or you can go into one of the county libraries and get in-person assistance. Or you can go into a couple of our locations in Riviera Beach and Lake Worth by appointment only and get assistance.
And that's really important to point out too about the help that is being given to landlords. And James, if you could talk about, a lot of families will say, well, if I apply for this and I do get back rent paid to my landlord, can they still evict me?
So they wouldn't be able to evict you for the months that we assisted them with, but if you are behind on future months, then perhaps they can. Here's what's important to note. Again, you're eligible for up to 12 months of assistance. So if you get 6 months back rent paid, you can still come in and get an additional 3 months. And if you can prove the crisis still exists beyond those 3 months, then you can get an additional 3 months. So it'll be 12 months total. And in extenuating circumstances, we can extend that for 3 more months. And so it's just important for you to know that there's funding available for you. We have funding not just for rent assistance, but for utilities, for your electric bills, for your water bill, for your gas bill. We can help you there as well. And you can save some dollars by utilizing the programs that we have available.
And we encourage you who are part of this discussion right now, listening in, to ask your questions for James Green, for Danita Jones. If you have any questions, either as a landlord or tenant, please go ahead and ask those questions so we can get you answers. I also want to bring up the fact that you mentioned, James, earlier that there are people who may still be making those partial payments towards rent, but maybe now their salaries, they had to take a job where it was much lower than what they had prior to the pandemic. Danita, is there any difference in being evicted if you're still making can you still be evicted if you're making partial payments towards rent and you've worked out some sort of deal with your landlord?
Absolutely not. So, well, actually, yes. If you are behind on your rent and you owe your landlord will file that 3-day notice. However, if you make a rental payment after the 3-day notice is served and your landlord accepts it, then your landlord will have to file another 3-day notice. If partial rental payments are made after an eviction is filed, then that money should be deposited into the court registry. Or if it's accepted and not deposited, then you can work with us and we can talk about address any concerns, maybe reach out to the landlord to see if we can come up with a settlement agreement or look at other defenses that may be available to you. The important thing is that each case is different. And so reaching out to legal aid in order to better understand your legal protections and your legal rights is probably in your best interest.
Yeah, and earlier this morning, you all can find this story as well on WPTV.com. I spoke with a gentleman who had faced an eviction notice at the beginning of the year this year. He was in a tough spot with his landlord. They weren't seeing eye to eye on many things, and he actually went to the Lord's place and was able to get help from them to get into a new place because he couldn't make those rent payments anymore at his previous place. So there is still a lot of resources out there, besides county rental assistance. There are other ways that you can kind of try to find a place that now you can afford. However, I want to talk about what goes on your record if you're officially evicted, because that's another big thing for tenants who may try to seek a home somewhere else after facing this eviction. Danita, can you talk about that? And what can you do to expunge this from your record so that this doesn't follow you around if you do face an unfortunate situation due to income loss?
Absolutely. So if you are evicted, then the eviction will be on your credit report for 7 years. And oftentimes landlords will ask whether you have an eviction. They'll pull your credit report, and that can have an impact on whether you will be able to rent a particular unit or from a particular landlord. With regards to sealing and expunging the criminal record, Legal Aid Society is working to try to get records expunged. Again, if you believe that you would qualify for those services, then please contact us, and we can help you with the expungement process.
All right. Thank you so much, Danita and James. You have offered so much great information. And we have links to both websites, the Legal Aid Society and the Palm Beach County Rental Assistance page on our website, WPTV.com. At 6 o'clock, we have another story where we go more in depth with James and we talk more about the program and how this also helps landlords. So please make sure you tune into WPTV on air right now at 6 o'clock. Thank you both again for joining us. And thank you for all of you who participated and asked questions and commented. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.